here, Airbrush Artist Extraordinaire, and I'm coming to you live from the Art of Airbrush store in Down Creek. I'm going to cover some quick tips and just random tips of that. So let's get started. What do I got here? I got some notes. My notes say centering lettering on shirts. I don't know about you guys, but I've seen a ton of off-centered or crooked or any of that kind of jazz on a shirt, and it drives me nuts personally. So I'm going to talk about how I go about centering stuff on my shirts, and hopefully these tips will help you guys. And it's really easy. This tip was probably shown to me many years ago, and it's probably something I use almost every day. So first thing I do is I make a visual of where the center of the shirt is coming out the collar. Kind of, and this is an important factor too, make sure your shirt is centered on the board itself. If your shirt is crooked, everything else is going to be crooked. So your foundation's got to be solid first. So kind of get a visual of where your center is, whatever it is that you're going to be spraying, or as far as location goes. And then if you want, you can kind of just lightly mist in a little color just to lock in the center point. Next, lock in a horizontal line, or if you're going to be curving something, you can lightly curve the line, making sure that the peak is at the top of the center point. From here, you can take the same principle and lightly letter in whatever it is it's going to be. So, I need a word. What's a word? What's a good word?
Abigail. Alright, we'll go with something easy. You want a guy name? You want a girl name?
Can I get some more consonants?
You want to do just one word?
How about centering?
Do centering.
Oh.
So break it down for us.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly letter in the word all the way across. And I'm going to do the arch one, and then I'll do a horizontal one.
So now, do you count your letters as you go along?
I don't. I used to. Way back in the day, I used to sit there and count how many I had, figure out what had to be in the center and stuff like that. And I've kind of gotten away from that.
Say, what's changed?
Confidence. You do enough shirts over time that you can kind of get a feel for where to squeeze, where to extend, and you really got to be able to literally push and pull each letter as you go. And once you come in and lightly letter these in, you'll have a rough idea of where you need to go and where you need to be, if you need to shrink this side or extend this side or whatever the case. Now if you notice, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 letters total. So I really should have 4 on this side, 4 on this side, and 1 in the center. But I've really got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm already in the center. And I've got a lot going on this side. So theoretically, if I wanted to correct this, now would be the time. I could totally shift this just a hair and bring it back over. But it looks to be okay as far as centering goes. This letter is a little bit bigger, so it's taking up, maybe the spot of 2.
But you always come in with your light color first, though, correct?
I would use the lightest possible color that I'm going to be using on the shirt in that area. If I'm going to have like pink and green, I'm not going to come in with pink and do this and then try to fill this in with green later. I'm going to have a hot muddy mess. So I would use green and then come back in with black or whatever it is. So knowing I've got this here, I'm actually going to bring this over just a hair more so I can kind of shift it over. But I'm going to do it a little bit harder this time. I'm going to actually come and lock it in.
Now, what kind of guns are you using?
These are Badger Anthem 155s.
Okay.
And I think currently in the bottle is Wicked Paint. And I'm currently shooting at about 60 to 70 psi, right around in there. So, I'm pretty close to centering my word in there. And the last little note I can give you on this aspect of it is, if this side looks to be a little bit bigger than this side, and it could be because of my tail, if I thicken my lettering on this side, it will help pull this back to that side. Like so. And it's not a lot. And if I also take, let's say I keep, thickening on all these guys or whatever the case. If I take my drop shadows and put them on this side, it will also help get rid of some of this negative space and continue to pull everything back this way. So, pre-line it, you know, really light, misty, lightly mist it in. Make any adjustments visually at this point and mentally, and then come back in and come back in and lock it in after that. And most of your shirts should end up being pretty close to centered without measuring, without putting pencil lines or any of that other crazy stuff. That stuff is cool and it works, but it's kind of slow. And when you're in the heat of the battle, you need to knock them out and knock them out quick.
Also, another point, if you notice, he's still got the gap on the side of both sides of the shirt. That's called the workable t-shirt area.
These areas here. You notice I don't start here and paint into the armpit. That's a big no-no.
Because when you wear it, you're not going to see that.
You're not even going to see it. You're not going to be able to read it, and readability is probably the number one thing that you want to keep in mind. So you have a workable area on your t-shirt, and it's usually about halfway between the sleeves and the collar, here and here, so about there. And you can theoretically take it all the way down if you know that's what it's called for, but you really want to stay out of this area. One, it smells. Two, it's the armpit, you're not going to see it. It's way back in here anyways. This portion of the shirt curves around the body, and there's really no point in filling that area unless, you know, that's what the customer's asking for. So that's pretty much it. So that's how you center your lettering on your shirts. So again, my name is Solis with Neely, and we're here at Art of Airbrush in Battle Creek.